very young age. So step back in time with me. The year's 1990. And you guys are young, I know. But I was about 16, 17 years old. I'll do the math for you, I'm 34 right now. And I just started to get good at bike racing. And by good, I mean being competitive nationally and starting to be competitive on an international basis. Okay, so I was pretty psyched. Now, to get there takes a lot of training. Ride between 20 and 100 miles a day, doing specific intervals and sprints, and a lot of times I was with my training group. Right? I crisscrossed the country to different races, and it's starting to pay off. Right? Have you ever had anything like that? You're like, yeah, this is starting to get cool. Yeah. Now, one particular day in May, I had to go train. It was time to go. I needed to go, and about 20 to 30 miles into the ride, I got tangled up with one of my training partners, and I was crashing. You know, when you're crashing, you don't have a lot of control over your trajectory. I went out really quickly into the oncoming lane of traffic, and I heard that sound that no cyclist wants to hear, that screech of the tires, and then bam! Bounced off the windshield, and I landed on the ground, and I looked to the sky, and I saw my bike about 10 feet in the air, flying, and I couldn't move. I was laying there, and I couldn't move. And instantly, my hopes and my dreams were shattered. Because you see, I had a big year plan for myself up to that point. Because this was in May, right? So I'm starting to get really fit. In June, my plan was to try out for the U.S. team and race at the World Championships. In July, I was going to be invited to the U.S. Olympic Festival, or I was invited already. And in August, I had a national championship to get about winning. And it was gone like that. And a big part of my identity went with it at that moment. Right? Now, they took me to the hospital, and all I had was a broken leg, which is pretty cool, right? But really less than ideal when you're a bike racer to have a broken leg. And when I mean broken, I mean like snapped in two, not this cracked business, right? I was in the hospital for a little while, and I went home, 3 or 4 days, and I was told that they were going to put a pin in my leg. And it went like that, right? So it's kind of long. And the cool part of it was, they said, you're going to be able to walk without a cast. And I thought, if I can walk without a cast, I bet I can ride my bike. So I started to get kind of excited about this prospect. Back to the hospital I went. And they did some surgery, and I was thinking, yeah, man, I'm going to be back really quickly. And while I was in the hospital, my mom brought me my mail, and I got this letter from USA Cycling. And I opened it up and said, Dear Tracy, we heard about your accident. We're really sorry to hear about this, and we're sorry you won't be racing at the U.S. Olympic Festival. See ya. Good luck. They gave my spot to somebody else. My spot that I had earned. In tears, man, they just came down. I mean, they didn't know what I was up to. After about 3 or 4 days of laying on the couch, just trying to get healthier, I decided, okay, now's the time. I got my bike out. Well, I had to borrow a bike because I didn't have a bike anymore because it got all wrecked. So I borrowed a bike from a friend. I got my indoor trainer, and I sat my bike up in the living room. And I took my crutches and hobbled over there, got on, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to ride. But my knee was so swollen, I couldn't turn my leg around. Right? It took me a couple days to be able to do that. And eventually, I started to be able to ride. And then after a couple days of that, I thought, hey, I'm getting good. I'm actually like kind of training again, right? Okay, time for me to go ride outside. And now, the doctor told me no, don't ride outside. And I didn't see any reason why not to. My poor mother was just in tears over the whole thing, and she wanted me to quit racing altogether, right? But see, neither of those were options for me. So I went to my dad. I said, Dad, I want to take my bike out and I need to ride. It's time that I go ride. Because see, I loved to ride my bike. I loved it. I loved the wind in my face. I loved the feeling of freedom, and I loved putting the effort in and getting that direct result out. That was so cool. And so I said, Dad, it's time for me to ride my bike. And he looked at me, and this is what my dad does. He does this. And he goes, as soon as you can walk without your crutches, you can go right outside. So I said, okay. Within 2 days, I took those crutches, chucked them in the corner, and I never picked them up again. Got my bike out, down the street I went. I got back from that ride, and I picked up the phone, and I called up USA Cycling, and I said, I want my spot back. I'm going to go to the Olympic Festival. And it was the first part of July, right? And this is like the last part of May. Okay, I didn't have a lot of time. And I was weak. But I said, you know what? I was invited. I can ride my bike. I'm going to go. And they said, all right. They said, all right. And when I got that ticket in the mail, because this was when they had to send you a ticket in the mail. You guys remember that? You might. Do you remember that? Okay. So I got this ticket in the mail. And I was so proud. I'm like, yeah, I'm going. Because the festival's a big deal. And I'll tell you about it in a minute. But when I went to get on that plane at the Dallas airport, it was one of the proudest moments of my life, because I knew that I could do anything. If I could get myself on that plane to go to that event, I'm even getting goosebumps like that. I knew that I could do anything, because I'd taken responsibility for what was going to go on. I didn't understand where my drive came from. I didn't understand where my focus came from, but I knew it was there. I knew I had to get back on my bike, and I had to get to that event. And so if it's okay with you guys now, we can start to discuss exactly what does go on in your mind. How are you motivated? How's it helping you? And how's it working against you? Would that be all right? Yeah.